Hey there, and welcome back to the Work Cultured podcast. We're excited to have with us Matt Aston. Matt is the founder and CEO of GPRS. They are in the construction and energy industries, and I can't really begin to explain all that they do. So I'm going to pass it to Matt. Matt, man, give us just a high-level overview. You started this company over 23 years ago. Tell us how you got to where you are and what it is you guys do.
Thanks, Jason. So I started the company in the fall of 2001, right after 9/11, and
Oh
uh,
man.
started with I went to my dad, who had a concrete cutting business. I was working as an entry-level financial analyst for a large, tier one automotive supplier in Toledo. That's where I'm from, Toledo, Ohio. And just knew that I didn't want to work for a big company. This was the second Fortune 500 company that I'd worked with, and it wasn't for me. Talked to my dad about going into business with him, and he pushed me to do something on my own. And as he did that, as he gave me that push, he also gave me this magazine. And in the magazine, there was this article. Not, I'm sorry, it wasn't an article. It was an advertisement for ground penetrating radar. And one of the uh, applications this advertisement identified was the ability to find electrical services in or below a concrete slab prior to saw cutting or drilling in a concrete slab. My dad's business is concrete cutting. So I thought, well, man, I remember him, this seemed inevitable that if they were going to cut inside, they were going to cut through electrical. And I thought I could build a business around this singular application. It's gone into a lot more than that now. We use ground penetrating radar still as our primary tool, um, but we use it to find the exact placement of reinforcing steel within concrete. Usually before cutting or drilling. We use it to find electrical. We use it to find other utilities within concrete, but also other utilities underground and other applications underground as well, like finding underground storage tanks or void cavities that have developed below the surface. And then over the years, we've gone into a few other services such as video pipe inspection, where we run cameras through pipes to do condition assessments inside of mostly sewers. 3D laser scanning and water leak detection services as well. So our company motto is intelligently visualizing the built world. So everything that goes with the construction, utility, infrastructure. I mean, that's our focus.
Yeah, it seems really specialized. And, I think about construction. Obviously, I'm an idiot and only know anything about building crap in my home, right? But I assume your clients are commercial construction, and uh, like what you do doesn't just pop to mind as something that, oh, hey, we're going to build this building. Better call Matt. Where do you fall in terms of that process? They're working with a construction company and a general manager, a project manager of sorts, and then you just are one of the specialists that comes along, or how does that work?
Yeah, more so on the renovation side than on new construction side. Or
Okay.
if they're putting
That makes
in
sense.
new utilities underground, obviously to do that you have to excavate. And with the complexity of infrastructure today, especially in more urban and suburban environments, there is if you're going to dig, it's not going to be long before you run into an existing utility. So as opposed to just digging blindly and taking your chances on what you might run into, we'll go ahead of the excavation to identify other utilities that are in the area to help, yes, minimize their cost, but really it's more about safety and
Yeah.
keeping existing infrastructure active as opposed to that unexpected. Nobody wants that unexpected shutdown, and we do
Yeah.
this in we'll do it in public space, we'll do it in private space, really wherever our customers are working. There's no limits to where we can go. So it's a little different
Yeah.
than a lot of the all states have the 811 service where you can call before you dig and it's free and it's paid for by the utilities. But there's some limitations as to what they can do, and we don't have any of those limitations with us.
Yeah. So, and you also told me that you guys are around 800 employees now, and
Yeah.
what you said over 23 years. You're in nearly every major city in the U.S., correct? If not every major
Yes.
city.
800 people, just over 800 people in 54 markets. There was no vision for that at the beginning.
Yeah.
I was when I started, it was me. I was the only person in the company, and we've been blessed. And you know, really, it comes down to this team of people that I was so fortunate to be able to connect with early on, and people that, like I said, you're taking a chance on them. I kind of view it differently. I think they were taking a chance on me. Yeah, does this
Yeah.
guy know what he's doing? I mean, this is not a well-known, technology or service yet. This business is in its infancy stage, and these people came alongside me, and we built the business together. And we've been extremely blessed, and there's tremendous runway, for us to continue growing this in front of us.
That's incredible, man. It's the entrepreneur dream is to be able to have that A team right out of the gate, build something
Mm.
really special together. Each of you putting faith in one another, and then it becomes something uh, really special. Um, Also, with that much growth, that many employees, the fact that you've been doing it for almost 24 years, there's been plenty of room for mistakes. Yeah, fair to say.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure just one or two. But as you know, we ask every guest that same first question, which is, what is a mistake that you've made in leadership that you'll never forget?
Yeah. So several. I think the one that, if you could push the do-over button and just have another shot. Uh, One thing I did when I started the company, I had never even been a manager of other people. I went from entry level position at my prior employer to starting GPRS, and the first person I hired was the first person that I was ever responsible for. And in that, early on, I was way too tolerant of not with the first person that I hired, and he was great. We've maybe had one conversation in the time that he's been part of GPRS, so he's still part of GPRS today. But there were some of the people earlier on where I just pushed off, the tough conversations. I tolerated, too much garbage, really too much mediocrity, and
Yeah.
it cost me personally, it cost the company, it cost the company growth, it cost the company opportunity. And if I could push the do-over button and just be a little tougher out of the gate, and really come to the realization that, look, I'm not doing this person any favor by uh, not letting them go, or just firing them.
Right.
Is the longer I keep them in this role, I'm holding them back from, wherever it is that they're supposed to go, and they may have an opportunity to thrive because it's not going to be here. And it
Yeah.
took a little longer to realize that uh, for me than it should have.
Yeah. That's an interesting one because, and I mean, I've seen your profile. You took the Aptive Index. You are not a micromanager, right? And so, like for you, the pendulum swing was the other way. And you've got a lot of company cultures where people are micromanaged, and like the founders got their heavy thumb on everything that gets done, and that creates its own set of problems. But your natural approach was the opposite of that, and you had to learn immediately. Okay, there, like accountability is important. I'm curious. At any point, did you start swinging the pendulum too far back the other direction, getting more too heavy-handed or micromanaging?
No, I
It's just
didn't.
not in you.
Yeah, if I made one of the another mistake I made early on was, when I would train people and they would start in a new city. We didn't build depth in Toledo, Ohio. When we hired people early on, they went to the different cities around the country, and we thought, if we can make this work in Northwest Ohio, we can make this work in just about any market, in the U.S. So that's what we did. They went to different, and when they would finish training with me, or training in general, and they were moving to whatever city they were going to, start our service. I would tell them, just do what you saw me do. I mean, that was really about the extent of the instruction they got from me. It was, look, you saw that if I didn't have work lined up on any given day, I didn't sit in the office and wait for the phone to ring. I went out and I went to construction sites. I went to construction offices. I went to engineering offices. I went to hospitals and universities and talked to their internal engineering teams. So to create some awareness about what the service was that we were, introducing to this world.
Wow. And so how'd that work out for them? Like, were they taking that same initiative, or were they feeling like you kind of threw them out to the sharks and they needed a little more direction than that?
So I did something different where I hired my friends and or people that were referred by friends. And so I already knew that they had something within them that I thought they would be able to do this. So we didn't, there were a few people that struggled. The ones that struggled were the ones that I really didn't know very well. And so I just set the expectation. I said, look, you know, Scott Clay, from Toledo, Ohio, moved to Dallas, and we didn't even send a single memo. We didn't put it, we put it on our website, but I sent him with a stack of business cards and brochures and the equipment that he was going to need to, do the work that the services that we were providing. And then he just did what I said. He went on the days he didn't have jobs. He went and he pursued business. He woke up at 6 in the morning, drove to sites, and he came home at 5 or 6 in the evening and was out all day, creating awareness for the service. And now Dallas is like the number 6 market in the country for us, and um, we're doing millions of dollars in business there every year.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, I assume you are aware that you've been quite blessed slash lucky to have had people like that join you early.
Jason, it is the team. It is 100% the team. This business, it became not about me the day I hired that first person in July of 2002. And I have a saying that when things go well, any CEO gets too much credit for what's happened. And when things go poorly in a business, the CEO takes on too much blame, for what's gone wrong. It's not 100%. 100% of success or 100% of failure or poor performance. It's not pointed at one person. I mean, there is one person who's ultimately responsible, but um, too much credit is given to the CEO in times of success, and then the opposite is true as well. Too much
Yeah.
too much blame is associated with that one person when things don't go well.
Along that same line, I think success is the most dangerous form of failure. I remember looking at my last company, there was this growth graph of the 7 years that I was in the pocket as the president. It compared to the plateau of the decade before. And so visually, it looked like success, but that was making me think I was doing everything right. And when I started getting those big light bulb and wake up moments, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making so many mistakes here. Like I'm harming the culture. I am, lowering the collective intelligence of some of my best people. Right. And not always, obviously, like, I'm proud of a lot there, but I think it's really hard for that CEO during times of success to also then self-reflect, look in the mirror, to do what you said, give credit where credit's due, but B, be like, well, this doesn't mean I'm great. That there's still plenty of room to grow.
Yeah, no doubt. We have a rule. So we meet. There's a senior leadership team now. There's 8 of us, and uh, you know one of the rules is uh, candor over diplomacy.
Yeah.
So diplomacy, it leads to misinterpretation. So just blunt force trauma. Say whatever it is, and yeah, and we want to be respectful. But if we all agree on
Hmm.
yeah any issue that we're discussing or any initiative that we're considering, then what's the point of if there's not some healthy conflict and debate around
Yeah.
within the senior leadership team, then what is the point? Another rule we have is if you're thinking it, you have to say it. You can't just keep it quiet. And
That's a
that's led
great one.
to some really great conversations. It's probably helped us avoid some mistakes that some pursuits that we may have made. Yeah, had we not had the conversation, and oftentimes, and when I really gain respect for people in that room is when they're on an island, when they stand up and say, "Hey, look, have we considered this?" And they're the one person who is willing to kind of put themselves out there and say, "Hey, look, I don't
Yeah.
agree. That's when you really have a special team when people have that comfort, that willingness to stand out alone and say, hang on a second, let's just think about this before we move down this path.
Yeah. Have y'all read the Kim Scott book, Radical Candor?
No, I am not.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, you're using so much of the terminology they would use or that she used in that book.
Wow.
It's that principle, right? If you're thinking it, say it. Um, there was a season where I realized I hadn't cultivated that type of culture myself. So I went on Amazon and bought a bag of actual red flags, like a little red flag on a wooden stick, and I gave it to the team at one of our executive retreats, which we did every quarter. And I'm like, you get to use this once a quarter, and if you throw your red flag out, that means I have to shut up and listen, and it does not matter how you say it or what you say. Like, I'm all ears, and you get to just tear into me. And it was a nice, fun, and kind of cutthroat way at the same time of forcing us out of the pattern of whatever Jason says goes, because that was not healthy.
That's great. There should be some penalty if you went the full quarter without using your flag.
Right, right. I'm like, use it. Yes, it
Yeah.
doesn't roll over. You know,
Yeah.
use it or lose it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it encourages. I mean, one of the guys, our CFO, is actually just 2 weeks from now. He's done with GPRS, but he's been with us for 10 years. And I personally recruited him. I knew him, and when we were announcing his departure from our company, uh, I said, one of the things that I really appreciated about him is he has been one person who's just willing to kick the door down to my office and say, "Hey, look, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
This that help me at least understand what you're thinking, because this does not make any sense to me." And I've really appreciated that. Yeah, and I think that's part of our leadership team. I think so. We've got 8 people. If we're in a room together for 2 or 3 days, I don't think any person talks less than 5% of the time, and I don't think anybody talks more than 15 or 20% of the time. I think
wow,
there's that it really is collaborative, and yeah, it's not. Yes, I'm the CEO of the company, but we don't throw our weight or titles around. I mean, we are truly a team that's leading this thing together, and I think that's one of the reasons that we've experienced the growth that we have.
that's really incredible, man. We had some similarities with my time at Champion and what you guys are doing, in that you're in a lot of different cities with a large headcount, and that means there's no one central office where 800 people walk in the door. Uh, and it's also different than the companies that are just fully remote, because you are very city present, and you are feet on the street groundwork when it actually comes time to execute. So I'm really curious what challenges that has brought from a culture standpoint. I mean, right, work culture, that's the name of the podcast. That's what we talk about.
Right.
What have been some of the bigger challenges for you?
So I think it's the biggest challenge, not only what it has been, but I think it's the biggest challenge going forward as well. So this year we'll break 200 million in revenue for the first time. I've gone on record with the company several times over the last year and a half, 2 years, saying, look, we can grow this to a billion or more in annual revenue. But we can't do that if we get away from what has gotten us to this point, what has made us special, what's made us unique. And part of that, we call it the biggest small company we can be. We don't want big company bureaucracy. We don't want red tape. We don't want policy for the sake of policy. Yeah, we want to be agile. We want to be able to pivot and make decisions quickly. We want to be aggressive in the pursuit of our goals, and we want to be unified in the pursuit of our goals. We want that small company, almost family style,
Like a mom and
mentality.
pop shop. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We want nothing to do with large company bureaucracy, and so how do we do that? It starts out, I go back, it doesn't even feel like that long ago. Well, we had the Christmas party at my house, and we had the entire company and their spouses in my house. And then we can't do that anymore. I mean, there'd be 1,500 people
Yeah.
there. but what has changed a little bit, we go from kind of one team to a team of teams mentality, where those core values that we have 5 core values within our business: integrity, growth mindedness, mutual respect, teamwork, and safety. Those are the overarching non-negotiables, where every one of those team of teams within our organization, they have to fall and meet those standards that we expect for those core values. But they can also, there's a subculture within each team. So I don't expect our team in Seattle to work exactly the same as our team in Miami. I don't expect our HR team to work exactly the same as our customer service team. So there's some, those are the bounds, but there's also I think some healthy subcultures within each one of those team of teams. And as long as it fits those 5 overarching themes, as long as it fits within that biggest small company we can be mentality, where we understand how a decision made on one team has how it affects and impacts a team that's further down the line, that's what's going to help us be successful in this yeah uh, the future growth that we have, and
Yeah.
attaining that.
How many like key leaders are needed? Is it like every city needs a key leader to help permeate those values and that culture? Or is it, there's a couple of key leaders in the various departments who are able to kind of make sure that that happens on a more of a flat level across the board? I bet it just seems like a really complex problem to solve.
Yeah, we have 8 people on the senior leadership team. So then we have about 30 directors, and the most complex piece is our field piece. That's where we have people in 54 cities, about 400 and close to 500 people in the organization are part of that field team. So there are 8 kind of regionally based field service directors, and they may have oversight of, um, well, I guess it'd be generally about 7 markets. If we have 54 markets and we've got eight field service directors, but in some cases they're different. Like our in the Northeast, he's only got oversight over 4 or 5 markets, because some of the cities are huge. You have
Yeah.
Boston and New York
Very
in
concentrated.
that
Yeah.
in that mix. Um, So we got 8 field service directors, and underneath them in each city, we have a team of our field team, and that's led by at least one area manager. Then you got a few markets. Southern California is our largest market in the country. We've got about 40, almost 40 project managers in Southern
Mm.
California. Those are the people who are responsible for delivering the services on a daily basis. And we don't like a ratio of more than one manager to 10 project managers. So we've got 4 area managers that oversee a team of project managers, and they feed up to that field services director that might have responsibility for a half dozen cities or so, including Southern California.
Yeah, and I imagine each one of those people is a key player. Like each one of those people has to be bought in
100%.
to all of that.
100%. One of the things that we've done differently, I'd say, yes, obviously the focus of this is culture. One of the things that we do differently is I'd say we create a tremendous amount of incentive, without giving up any direct equity. That had been the case, for the company over the last 4.5 years. We have been giving our every one of our the people who choose to work at GPRS, we do give them the opportunity to buy equity in the business. So uh, today we have over 200 people who work at GPRS, who have an ownership stake in
Wow.
GPRS. So ownership, that's kind of the unwritten sixth core value, where there's certainly direct ownership where you actually own a piece of the company, but there's also this ownership over whatever it is you do, where
Hmm.
you have autonomy, you have, responsibility. I mean, this is your area of responsibility. This is your piece. It's your job to see this through. Yes, and I don't think that is any more obvious probably than with our field team, where um, if they don't perform at an elite level on any job they do, that's our reputation. That's
Hmm.
at stake with our customer. And so last year we did 160,000 jobs across the country, and we had a complaint on 0.16% of those jobs.
That's ridiculous.
I was pretty happy with it.
So is that 20? Is that what that's coming out to? 20 or
No,
30 total
it's
complaint?
I think it's about 250.
Oh,
0.16.
0.16.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Point one, point one,
So,
0.16
gotcha.
on 160,000. So yeah, whatever the square root of 16 is reduced to decimal.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
decimaled wrong there.
200, 256.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly 160,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So you tell your story a lot. All right. So what are some of the more fun things for you to talk about in telling your story that we have not talked on yet?
Fun things. We get to do some unique jobs. We've and the growth has been fun, but yeah, some of the we've done jobs in every Caribbean island. We've done jobs in Japan. We've done jobs in China. We've done jobs in Central America. Um, but it comes back to people. I mean, there's a group that I work out with, and yeah, it's called F3, stands for Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith. And one of the things that we say is that there's bonds, created in suffering together. But yeah, I think if you go back to uh, and you suffer at F3. I mean, it can be 4 degrees in Northwest Ohio in January,
You're still
and
doing it.
you're outside. Um, and it's cold and it's dark and it's windy and all the stuff you don't want, but you're out there anyway because you know other people are going to be there. They're kind of expecting to see you as well.
Hmm.
So, but I think the same can be said for building something together. There's bonds created in building something together, and that's what we've done here. And one of the best parts of this that has been the most fun is uh, the friendships, yeah, certainly for me, but for others as well, that have been created through just, seeing this through together. And I think, one of the things that's really been a lot of fun is this has not been my vision. Yeah, I've contributed to the vision, but yeah, the vision is really the rest of the senior leadership team. And that's one of the things that I asked for at the end of 2024. One of the challenges I challenge our company a lot, and like all company podcasts or all company messages, I'll usually end it with a challenge. And that's one of the challenges that I've given is, hey, look, vision it's great. And yes, it's my responsibility as the CEO to cast that vision, but this vision can be a lot better. It will be a lot greater if it's not just me thinking about this, if it's not just the senior leadership team thinking about this, if we can get input on vision, throughout the entire organization, that's really where we're going to see some magic happen. And that's one of the areas that we've been blessed is we do have people who are willing to speak up and say, hey, have we ever considered doing this? Have we thought about this? And that makes it really fun when you see that
Yeah.
engagement and that level of participation throughout the entire organization.
Yeah, that really is incredible. That you mentioned the first time we met, not here, obviously on the podcast, but you enjoy telling your story, and I can definitely see why.
Yeah,
Super, super cool.
yeah, yeah.
Now, for
It's unique, and it's been we've been tremendously blessed. So yeah,
yeah,
but it is 100% the people in the organization.
yeah. Now, this, the listeners, to give you all an idea of the timing, because usually it takes some time for the editing and the posting, but right now it's mid-January, and that means Southern California is just under attack with all those fires. Just so much sorrow and heartbreak going on right now. And I'm curious, are y'all going to play a pretty big role in some of that redevelopment there? Is that the zone y'all live in?
Yeah, that's not our concern right now. We've had one person on our team get the evacuation order that his home is too close, and
Mm,
so he left last Friday. The rest of our team's okay. We're checking in on him regularly. We will do whatever we can to help, when that time comes. Right now, we want to stay out of the way and, help in any way we can.
yeah.
But, when clearly there's going to be a lot of rebuilding in that area. I saw some pictures the other day of Malibu along the coast, and I drove down the Pacific Coast Highway with my family a few years ago, and it's horrible, what's happened. We did
Hmm.
help on a large opportunity in Lahaina after that fire destroyed Lahaina on Maui. What was that, 2 years ago, maybe? And we had a major role, and it was a big job for us, and we were eager to help in any way we could. And same
Hmm.
thing goes in California. If we're able to be helpful in any way, we'll certainly jump at that opportunity.
Yeah, man, that's it's wild right now. Um, well, let's start transitioning. This has been a fantastic conversation so far. But before we end with our silly quickfire, I want to give you that shameless plug opportunity. So, what is it you want to tell us about on how to connect with you, with the company, or some other thing that you're going to throw out there?
Yeah, I appreciate it. What we're working on right now is it's called SiteMap. So if you think about the areas where we work repeatedly, it's hospitals, universities, manufacturing plants, entertainment venues, yeah, any place where you have a complex facility that is reliant on, kind of critical underground infrastructure that's ever changing. Um, that's where we really have an opportunity to shine. And one of the things that we've noticed over the last 23 years is very few of these places have good records of what their underground infrastructure really looks like. So in one of these senior leadership kind of brainstorming sessions we had, we said, what if we came up with something like a Google Maps, for underground infrastructure, where we started building permanent records for these facilities on what
Mm.
their underground infrastructure really looks like. We could go collect the data and provide it to them through a software program. And we've done that we've built that
Cool.
over the last 2 years. We just rolled it out in February of 2024. So coming up on a year, and we've got it's off to a very good start. But we think this is going to really change the way our services are viewed, bought by our customer base, and it's the platform on which I think the next decade or two of GPRS growth will be based on.
Is it basically the underground equivalent of having your building plans, your blueprints?
Very much so, but integrated and accurate and up to date. And as they change, we host the data. So as they change, we go out and we provide updates. And so think about university campuses. Yeah, any major university, I think that over the last 20 or 30 years, how many buildings have been built? How many buildings have been torn down? How many underground utilities have been moved in that time in that process? And
Hmm.
that's one of our things that we think there's a real opportunity for value that just doesn't really exist today. And so we're introducing this technology, and it's we're happy with the reception that we've had so far.
Neat. Wow, thanks for sharing. Does that have its own kind of brand name that you want to throw out there for people to look
Yeah,
into?
thank you. I should have said so, but it's called SiteMap.
Yeah, so
So
so SiteMap, you did say that. Is there like another URL for it so that we don't confuse it with like a website sitemap?
yeah, I think if you just Google it, we're all over LinkedIn. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
GPRS,
perfect.
yeah, SiteMap.
GPRS sitemap. Cool.
But yeah, so it's SiteMap powered by GPRS.
Nice.
And
Okay.
but yeah, easy to find us on LinkedIn, or if you just Google GPRS or ground penetrating radar, yeah, we will surely pop up. Look for the GPRS logo in the red square, and then you're at the right place.
Very cool. Matt, this has been a fantastic interview. We're going to end with our quick fire, and then we'll sign off. Uh, I kind of already know the answer to this one because you told me that you just moved to Florida on a beach. But hey, why not? Mountains or beach?
Beach. I don't like being cold, so beach.
A night owl or morning person?
I'm a morning person. Yeah,
Yeah.
4:45 wake up time.
Okay. And I assume the F3 contributes to that too.
Yeah, yes. Well, there's no F3 in here in Florida, where I'm
Ah,
at in Florida. But
okay.
yeah, I like to be in the gym early and get going in the morning.
Yep. Yep. Hard copy book or audio book?
Hard copy.
Okay. Uh, toilet paper. Does it roll over or roll under?
Don't
Solve
care.
this debate for us.
I do not care.
um, let's see. Sunrise or sunset?
I'll go sunrise.
All right. And then you're from the Midwest, right?
I'm from Ohio. Yeah,
You're from, yeah, yeah. All right. So you want your food mild or spicy?
I think spicy gives you a little more flavor.
No, okay. All right. That's surprising sometimes. Sometimes with Midwesterners are just like, give me as bland as it can be. Uh, so yeah. Um, that's all we've got for you. Actually, you know what? You've mentioned working out a few times. Actual gym or free for all, like at home, outdoor kind of a thing.
Mix. Um, so yeah, F3 is mostly a body weight, and so I do F3 a couple days, per week, whether it's a lot of push-ups, pull-ups, mix of running, distance, and sprint. But down here in Florida, I'm in the gym, 4 days per week, and I run 2 days per week, 5 miles one day and 7 miles the other. Um,
Wow. Very regimented.
very regimented when it comes to I got pretty out of shape about 10 years ago, and was playing basketball with my son on the driveway, who was like 10 or 11 at the time, and just getting dizzy and winded, and so this is going one way or the other. I don't like the way it's going. So I'm 47 now, and I don't know if I'd say I'm in the best shape of my life, but I'm very close to it.
Yeah, you're not alone, man. There's a lot of us in our 40s founders that all of a sudden have just kickstarted, and we are in the best shape of our lives. It's pretty
Mm.
fun. So if you're one of our viewers or listeners and that's not your story, go hit that gym.
Oh, it's
It'll
time to get
change your life. It'll
started.
change your business.
It's time to and just be a little more intentional about what you eat as well. It's not that hard to make some good choices, and man, you feel so much better.
Yep. Well, thank you again. Y'all, this has been Matt Aston with GPRS. Go find them on LinkedIn. Go check out their website. We've appreciated having you. Thank you so much.
Jason, I really appreciate the opportunity and enjoyed the conversation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Until the next time on the Work Culture podcast, we will see you later.